When is it going to collapse? As I've said, I've never seen a summer like this. I think we're going to see the winter of discontent. If it was an Arab Spring, you're going to see a U.S. You're going to start seeing it unraveling more and more every day as you watch the news. So October is my month that, you know, and it's only a guesstimate that we're going to see the big unraveling. But even if it doesn't happen in October, because you don't know what phony schemes they're going to come up with, it's going to happen eventually, and that's why I'm fully invested in gold.
Now, Gerald, you put out your forecast over a year ago, well over a year ago, and said that you believed that it would be evident that we were in a collapse by December of 2010. And if you looked at John Williams' shadow stats, if you looked at all the old numbers that government would use to put out more accurate breakdowns, we'd been in a depression for 2 years at that point. Now they're calling it, Geithner is on the Meet the Prostitutes and other shows, Geithner is calling it the greatest recession or the Great Recession. And we see the jobless numbers, the factory closings. We see all of this happening. And so more and more they're having to say, okay, it's a double-dip recession. Well, a double-dip recession that we never left is really a depression. So you've been proven right. It's just a deepening depression. So break down from your view how bad this depression is going to get and the response that we're going to see by government that's bought and paid for by these offshore banks. And then the reason I have you back here tonight, where we left off on the radio because we ran out of time, you were getting to the road warrior scenario, the violence scenario, and you've been talking about this. And today we had shootings at IHOPs and at H&R Blocks, and 48 people shot in New York and 2 dead cops. I mean, things are, metal thieves are stealing everything. They came through our office stealing stuff a few weeks ago. They're cutting the catalytic converters off of the cars while you're inside working. All the coffee shops I go to are being robbed. I mean, but the controlled prostitutes tell me the crime isn't going up, and they're laying off cops, and the cops that are left are going to be out there raising revenue, writing tickets to old ladies and arresting people with lemonade stands and banning gardens in your yard and SWAT teaming Gibson guitars. I mean, it's as if the government is taking PCP or something.
Look what's going on in the UK. And you looked at the riots, they call them hooligans and criminals. It's the same thing that's happening around the world. And it's going to happen here in the U.S. You know my saying, when people lose everything and have nothing left to lose, they lose it. And they're losing it. And you, as you mentioned, at the IHOPs, you're going to start seeing, just as they're, again, use the UK as your model. They're taking away all civil liberties. You read an article that comes out by your favorite girlfriend over there, Janet Napolitano, big sis. You have a crush on her. Or was it like you like to crush her? One of the two. But anyway, she's so happy we have all these surveillance cameras around. So as what happens is, the more the government loses control, the harder they are going to crack down on us. So when you see a society where so many young people have no education, they can't get jobs, they're whacked out on drugs that, you know, when I was growing up, nobody ever dreamed of, you think you're going to see a lot more violence, and the response is going to be, we got to crack down on crime. So the worse crime becomes, the harder they're going to crack down on us. They'll use it just as the UK, just as the United States used 9/11 to rape us of constitutional rights. The UK is using that over there. The example that happened in Rotterdam, whatever the place was, to crack down on civil liberties. So that's where we're going. It's only going to get much worse. And you were talking about John Williams' shadow stats, the Great Depression. Look at housing. How many times did they say that the real estate market was turning around? It's worse. It's worse than it was during the Great Depression. And it's only going to get worse.
Brought to you by Patriots helping patriots. .com. Some folks say you should have two types of investments these days, the kind you can eat and the kind you can shoot out of a rifle. When it comes to the eating kind, you can get 12 servings free. Learn more at patriotshelpingpatriots.com.